Bite-sized and bossy, rising up the ranks, handing out encouragement, deposits in their banks. Inspiration coming at you like a river flowing. Women paving paths, look at them going. Bite-sized and bossy, rising up the ranks, handing out encouragement, deposits in their banks.
Welcome. I'm Erin.
And I'm Tammy.
And this is Bite-Sized and Bossy.
And
that
this
was the
episode,
perfect.
we got to do some sponsor copy.
All right, you go.
This episode was brought to you by Dreambox, the digital agency helping restaurants grow. You can find them at wearedreambox.com. Thank you, Dan and Danielle. We so appreciate you. You make this possible.
Well, and we love the Dreambox team. I was just excited that we said it at the same time. It was very exciting. So we have an amazing guest today.
Do we?
So Kim Lewis, who I have fangirled over for a long time, and she ignored me for a very long time, but that's fine. It's fine because she was better than me. And I had to fight to get in her good graces, but she is the chief marketing and technology officer of Capriotti's. And if you have never had Capriotti's, holy cow, it is amazing. They have the Thanksgiving Thanksgiving sandwich. It's so good. Anyway, I'm so excited that Kim, you're here with us today. So for those who don't know you, like I know you and have stalked you for years on end, could you introduce yourself?
I sure can. Thank you. And now I'm going back in time and I'm like, oh my goodness, when in the world did I ignore Erin? I feel so terrible.
I was low man on the totem pole. I was the coordinator who was just fangirling over you.
Oh gosh, man.
So
well,
cool.
Thank you, I think. But good to be here. Thank you guys for having me. Let's think, where do we start? I have spent my entire career using digital and emerging technologies to drive marketing, strategy, and growth. So in all of my roles, starting in retail and now into the restaurant space, I've always been digital focused, starting way back in 2000 in the dot-com boom, helping people make their first websites, start their first email newsletters, build their first e-commerce site, and then growing into things as they've progressed, like loyalty, additional MarTech, and then bringing that into restaurants. So it's been really exciting. As you mentioned, I've been the chief marketing officer at Capriotti's sandwich shop for almost 2 years. And then I recently took on an expanded role, also leading the full IT and technology function.
Whoa.
No big deal.
Pause.
Yeah, pause.
Erin had a job previously as MarTech. And I thought that was a big deal, right? People starting to create technology roles around marketing. But now you are taking on the IT function. So talk about that. How did that happen? Because let's call a spade a spade. That's typically a male dominated part of the business. So how did you get that title?
So, it really kind of evolved naturally over time, over the past couple of years, just as we've been integrating our strategic plans deeper and deeper into the organization. It really, I think, took hold most this past year, where we implemented an end-to-end menu transformation project that required just a lot of simplification across the entire system. And a lot of that was very IT heavy. So we, for example, had multiple versions of the menus and of the menu screens and all of those things that had to be standardized, simplified, get all of the things kind of in one path so that we could then scale and move forward. Because one of the things that we realized when we wanted to update the menu was, oh no, why do we have 17 different menus across the system?
How did you have 17
sandwiches?
different menus?
Yeah, it was great. But there were just so many, just this one thing was different in this one area, or this one franchisee had wanted to keep this one sandwich. And so there are things that along the way sounded like not a big deal. But then when we got to the point where we wanted to make a big menu change, every single one of those exceptions was a blocker.
Yeah.
And
That's
so
crazy.
going through that, we just really realized that we had to get to a standard menu across the entire system. We had to simplify all those screens and all those SKUs, and it was just this enormous project. But then we came out on the other side, and it was just this. It was just like this deep breath of, wow, this is incredible. And now we can really change and iterate and scale
And they
at
went, now
speed.
she's in charge of it too.
That's exactly what I was thinking. So
Uh,
maybe it isn't she gets to be in
no.
It
charge,
kind of
but now
became a
she
careful
has
what
to
you
do
wish
it.
for kind of
You did the
thing.
job before you did the job, let's be honest. And a lot of women do. But like when
Oh,
you did
excellent
this
point.
for technology folks out there or restaurant folks, when I look at your menu, there's like, I don't know, let's say a handful of sandwiches, right? But the SKUs and how much it takes to update sounds like it's pretty painful. And I don't think people realize that. Like, what is that like to go through? And I assume that's like, oh, if someone wants to switch out turkey for ham and all those things are different things, right?
Right. So it's one of those things that absolutely looks so much simpler than it is. As many
Yeah.
things on the back end. You think, so yes, let's just say loosely 20 sandwiches. So you have 20 different sandwiches. Okay, great. So we're going to update 20. Well, no, we have four sizes of every
Oh.
one of those sandwiches. You have customizations that you can make to every
Mhm.
single one of those sandwiches. And then what we even realized was that along the way, because there were different menus that were set up, there was actually a different SKU for each individual size and sandwich that had been set up for
Oh,
each
for Pete's
iteration
sakes.
of the
How are
menu.
you doing analytics?
Well, that's exactly. It was so difficult because you would think that you had pulled in every single SKU to analyze the Bobby, and then you realized, oh no,
The
there's these
Bobby.
these others that are floating out there that I didn't even realize. So it's dramatically our head of analytics is definitely thankful that we have streamlined and simplified
I can
everything now.
only
How many
imagine.
locations are there?
So we have just over 150
Okay,
locations
cool.
nationwide.
And you guys
Cool.
are growing pretty fast. And in fact, when I first met Kim, which was 3 years ago, this Meg will be 3 years ago. I had never been to Capriotti's and had asked about it. And
Really?
yeah,
It's
I
so
know you're
good.
fangirling, but I live in California. I don't have one near me.
We had them in Vegas.
Yeah, well, I haven't. When I'm in Vegas, I don't go to a Capriotti's. Maybe
Damn it,
that will
Tammy.
change this year because I'm going to be
So
there in
good.
a few weeks with Kim.
That's
With
right.
Kim.
Actually, I would, and
Wait,
I've asked
why
him
are
to.
you going to be there?
Well, I've asked him to tell the story. So we met, and I'll tell this portion. So we met 3 years ago, this Meg, and I was there by myself. She was there by herself, and so we just became buddies and spent most of the time together. Went and hit some parties and all that fun stuff. And so this year, I was really excited to see her this last year, and I think we were on the bus.
We
We
were
were on the bus, and I
The
said,
bus
"So,
to
what's
where?
going on with you?" We were on the bus from our hotel to the show to
Oh.
NRA. And I said, "So what's going on with you?" And she's like, "Well, I built a Kimbot." And I said, "What? Tell me more." And so I'm gonna let you take it from there. But I thought this was so fascinating. This, and don't give everything away, but I thought it was so fascinating. I said to her at the time, I said, "We're planning this AI summit, and would you?" I mean, in that moment, I was like, "Would you come and tell people about this? Like, will you talk about this?" And it's been will be 10 months by the time it's real, but it's really happening. So give a highlight or a preview of what you built.
Sure. So it all happened very organically. I was at an event right after RLC called the Unconference, which was great. And like most great ideas that happen when you least expect them, I was having a conversation over a cocktail with the with one of the co-founders of Thanks, and he mentioned how some of the really creative ways that he had been using AI for some really specific and interesting use cases. And I was just captivated. And I said, tell me more. This is exactly what I need in my life. I have all these ideas. I know exactly how I would do this. Like, teach me your ways. So he
Yeah.
gave me some really good pointers on ways to get started. Said, hey, reach out if you have any questions. And I actually went back to my hotel room and started.
That's
And I was like,
amazing. You were
it
that
was,
excited. You just went straight in and started right then and there.
I did. I started right then and there because I thought, when is the better time to capitalize on it than right now when I'm thinking about it. So so that evolved over time, and I really started experimenting with AI, like not just for productivity, which is how I had been using
Mhm.
it, but what I got out of that conversation was that I could really use it to scale leadership and judgment. And that was the difference. That was the aha that I had on how I could really start to use it differently. So I began training a custom GPT to understand me,
Oh
how
my
I
God.
think, how I communicate, how I lead, what my challenges are, and the way that I approach them when I have the time to sit down, think through everything,
Mhm.
pressure test all of the strategy, and carefully craft messaging. I have a journalism degree. I'm a writer.
Wow.
I love to write. But that takes a lot of time to
Yeah.
write things beautifully and really communicate things well. And so I realized that if I could train this custom GPT to help me shortcut that I could really amplify the scale of my impact here at Capriotti's, and in my personal life. I actually ended up training two different ones. I've got Kimbot Pro and Kimbot Home, and
Wait a minute. Do
one.
your kids go ask Kimbot for like permission to go on field trips or what?
Well, that's funny that you say that. Kimbot is actually the arbiter of at home, and so anytime they don't like the decisions that my husband or I make, we say, "Okay, well, let's go ask
But I
Kimbot
don't
what she thinks."
understand. Like, explain to me this Kimbot home. Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, Erin has 3 kids at varying
Like,
from
I
what
need a
ages
bot
10 to
that does
16. So
everything for me.
she needs some help.
No,
Yeah.
it's great. Well, so I'll tell you. So I took the foundation of what I had built for my work version, because I started with really telling it my story, who I am, kind of how I think, the course of my career, how I got to where I am, why I made different decisions that I did, and then I loaded a ton of content. Here's a ton of content that I've written, that I've created, from throughout my career.
So you
Here's
taught it who you were.
I
Mhm.
taught it who I
And then
was.
what happened?
So,
And then I started to pressure test it. So then I started to feed it problems,
yeah.
feed it issues, and then see. And the way that I would prompt it would be using, it's much longer, and this is part of what I'll share at Mertech. But a lot of the things I would say, using everything that you know about me and my style and my leadership tone and all of these things, take this email and draft a response that would come from me. And
But what
then
about the kids? I want to know about the kids.
back to the kids. Okay, well, so it kind of happens the same way. So this is how I trained it, though. I trained it in how I would speak, in
Okay.
how I would address it, which ones I would be soft on and which ones I would be really firm on.
Okay.
And then I iterated with it, and I'd say, no, I don't say things like that, or I say, no, I need to infuse a little bit of humor here. Put
Okay.
a dad joke
Example.
in
Give
here.
me an example.
So franchisee emails is a perfect.
No kids. I want a
She
kids
cares
kids.
about your
example.
kids.
Nobody cares about the franchisees. Kids. So I have a 15-year-old. I have a
Okay.
15-year-old
Yeah. Oof.
who wants
They
his entire
suck.
life to revolve around Fortnite.
Yeah. Oh, all right.
Oh.
That's what he doesn't think, that anything else is important
Mhm.
other than spending time playing Fortnite.
Yeah. Fair
And
point.
so we, of course, have to establish rules and limits around when and how long that he can actually play, because there
Mhm.
are other things that he needs to
Yeah.
do, like sports and school
And
and
human
interact
interaction.
with real humans. And so we had put together a framework of what would be kind of a base case, as long as he is taking care of certain obligations, and
Okay.
then what could be opportunities for him to earn more.
Okay.
Well, he did not like the base case.
Yeah.
Nobody likes rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody likes that. And so we went back and forth and back and forth. And we were just kind of at an impasse because he wasn't buying why we were saying that we thought that there needed to be limits, and that he needed to do his schoolwork first, and that we shouldn't play at all on weeknights. And so finally he just goes, let's just go ask that Kimba. And so I said, all right. I mean, I hadn't really thought about using it to mediate with my children. And so I said, okay, well, fine. We'll do it. And and it was a little bit of a roll of the dice. I didn't know if it was going to be like, yeah, you're being super unreasonable and you should let him play on the weeknights. So we hit the voice input button, and he just he just like voiced his whole case.
Oh, you had just had therapy.
Yeah.
Yes. And so then, before we hit submit, I gave it a little bit more context and said, that was Bowen. That was his argument on why he thinks he should be able to play Fortnite during the week, using everything that you know about me and my leadership and my parenting style and my goals for myself and my family. Please give us the pros and cons of what Bowen is asking for and what we have established as the rules. And it just gave this really, really structured output of
he didn't get to play Fortnite, did he?
He did not get to play Fortnite during the week.
Did he trust that more than actually hearing it from you? It's sort of like, oh, well, if the bot says it.
Absolutely. He was like, ugh. He just kind of hung his head, and I just said, look, I'm not doing these things to be unreasonable. I'm doing this because I value your mental health. I value you spending time with people in real life. I value the interaction with you and our family. And I value how you do in school. And I want you to
be my
earn.
mom. You sound really
Yeah,
good
you
at
sound
it.
amazing. Can you come be my kid's mom? Like, you sound so good at this. Like, I need tips.
Well, I was thinking you could
they
learn
don't
to
think
do
it's
this.
very awesome. They don't think it's very awesome. But yeah, so it was great, and he really did. He for a moment, it stemmed the tide on the argument. And now we kind of go back every once in a while and we refresh, and we both put our thoughts and our side into it, and we get a really, it's cheating a little bit. It's not totally neutral because I've slanted it towards the way that I feel.
But
You're like,
what
Kimba,
you have
tell
done is
him
taken the
again that he
emotion
can't play
out of
Fortnite.
it.
Like, no more Fortnite.
You've taken
you're
the
exactly
emotion
right,
out of
Tammy.
it.
It takes the emotion.
Yeah.
It takes the emotion out of it, because then I'm not saying the wrong thing or in the wrong tone or any of that. It's just there. It's black and white. It's on the screen. We print it. We print it out, and so now we have a literal printout. It's called Kimbot Rules, and whenever we need to go back and and refine it, we do.
I have a friend, someone we know, I just don't want to out them. They are using it with their partner for counseling.
Yeah.
Very similar. So Aaron, I think it could be some tactic to try with your kids. You teach it and then they can just go ask the Aaron bot.
I don't, Kai, like, that's not going to work. Like, I could go in there. I just handed her a dog a couple minutes ago and said, watch this dog. And she's like, I don't know how I'm supposed to do that. I'm like, oh, for God's sakes.
Oh
So
my God,
yeah,
yes.
no, I get it. Like, it's hard, but like the fact that you figured this out is pretty impressive.
Well,
yeah. Well, now that I'm thinking about it, we had a different blow up last night, so I probably need to go back and I probably need to get some Kimbot output to print out and have ready.
Well, so one of the things I know about you, and I'd like for you to share with the audience, is that you have spent your career, most of it, in restaurants. So what other restaurant companies have you worked for, and how did you get to be at the CMO level? Because you had to move for this job, right?
I fell in love with her at Sonic.
That's when you were girl crushing?
Yeah. That's when I fell in love. I followed her.
That's so cool. I really didn't know that, Aaron. That's awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
You're getting to meet one of your idols. This
I
is
know.
so cool.
Like, that's when I fell in love with. I would start following her.
Aww.
Yeah, well, so there you have it. So, I joined Sonic in 2017. That was when I moved over from retail. So I had spent from 2000 to 2017 in retail, which I loved. But then I had the opportunity with Sonic, and it was just a brand that I had always really loved and deeply cared about since I was a child, and it just felt like such an incredible like dream opportunity to be able to work on a brand that you personally love and advocate for.
And also got to use rollerblades sometimes.
Yeah, you will not catch me on any. You will not catch me on any skates. But so yeah, so I came in there, and it was really to help them with the go-to-market strategy on their digital strategy. So,
Mhm.
they were ahead of the curve in understanding that digital was going to be big, and that mobile ordering was going to be, a big thing in the industry. Because at that time,
Yeah.
you had a couple of really big players, your Domino's, your Starbucks, your Chipotle's of the
Yeah.
world, but
Yeah.
beyond that, it really wasn't like a big thing to
Had they
have
been bought by
mobile ordering.
Inspire at that point or no?
No, so this was when Sonic was standalone, and
So
so
theoretically, then that sort of work leaned into potentially a sale.
oh, I can't speak to all, who
Right.
knows,
But
but I
I'm
would
sure
I would
she had
assume.
a
you're
lot to do
taking the
with that.
company
Yeah.
forward. What was it in retail experience that set you up well for that job?
So my background really started in digital marketing and in CRM, and so it was a real focus on data driven marketing, on implementing
Mhm.
emerging technologies for the first time.
Hmm.
Each company that I worked for, we were implementing big strategic digital initiatives for the first time
And that
in
is
those.
why she is now the CMO and CTO.
Yeah. Chief
There it is.
marketing
So
and technology
and
officer. I practiced
technology.
that.
So I've always worked hand in hand, with the technology department, because
Mhm.
they're such a huge enabler of everything that I was working on. So in 2018, we rolled out the pilot version of our mobile app, and then quickly scaled that by the end of that year, and then it just really took off. And so
That's
me
great.
and my team were focused on the customer acquisition into it, and getting people into, opting in to get emails and text messages and push notifications and all of that. And we were able to really, really scale that business, and in a way that was really meaningful and rewarding. And you mentioned Inspire, so yes, at the end of 2018, Sonic
Hmm.
was acquired by Inspire Brands. So we were under the Inspire umbrella for the remainder, of my tenure with Sonic. And then this opportunity came up at Capriotti's, to then take that to the next level. And after having been in a big brand and
Yeah.
in an even bigger organization,
Yeah.
I wanted to try my hand at a smaller and more emerging brand, to help them to bring process, bring scale,
Yeah.
and really set a brand up to be able to become, maybe not a 3,600 unit
Right.
chain like a Sonic, but Capriotti's just has so much white space and so much opportunity.
But I think, and I would pose this as a question, do you think that moving to a smaller brand enabled you to get to the C-suite faster?
Certainly.
Like, had you stayed at
Wait, what was
Sonic
your
or kind
title
of went
at
up the
Sonic?
chain?
I
So
assume.
I was a VP at Sonic. So
Oh,
I
okay.
started
You
out
were one step away. Okay, we're
as
not like,
There could be
ooh,
SVP or
yeah.
EVP.
No, she
In
wasn't
those
like
big
like
organizations,
the
it's like layers
senior
and layers and
manager
layers.
here. She like,
yeah.
yes,
Well,
you
she
were already
started
that.
there as like CRM, so I didn't know where her title ended. But
Yeah.
my belief, and I wanted to see if it was confirmed or not, is that sometimes to get to that next level, you have to go to a smaller company to get them to put you in that position because you have more experience. But then you're there, right?
Right.
And then it's like, okay, now those big brands, you've worked your way up, you get those ecosystems, and now you have this. Not that you're looking, but, if there was what's Kim's next adventure, however many years from now, you could potentially be a C-suite at a bigger brand.
Yep, sure. I mean, if that's where I decided I wanted to land. There's a
Yeah.
lot of there's so much that I love about where I am right now, about Capriotti's as a brand. And so, it's been really great. The thing that I'll tell you, my very favorite thing about working in a smaller brand is the speed to market. We have
Yeah.
a small centralized leadership team, and we make decisions and then we do them.
Yeah. I want
And
to
so
do it
it's
and then I
amazing.
do it.
Yeah,
That's
we
what I
make
always say. Like,
decisions
that doesn't
and then
exist
we
in
act on
those
it.
big brands.
And
Yeah.
so that's really now you certainly there's a lot of there's trade-offs. There's huge and incredible support systems in bigger brands that you have, like, oh, I'm going to call the analytics department who's
Right.
going to
That doesn't
help me
exist in small
with all
brands.
of these things. Now, we are fortunate to have an absolutely incredible analytics person who is my analytics department here. But we didn't have that when I joined.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we're really, it's kind of bringing some of that big brand thinking to a smaller and emerging brand, and the things that really matter and the things that really make an impact to help the brand grow and scale.
So you talked a little bit about, not to shift gears, a kid, and you said we. So like I assume you're married or you have a partner. Can you tell us more about your lifestyle?
She wants
Sure.
to know,
So,
when you're not working, what are you doing?
Yeah.
well, I do work a lot, too much, according to my family. So I'm working on that a little bit, but we're doing big things. So I have a husband. He travels a lot, and so that is one thing that that kind of stinks. But we sure love it when he is home. And then I have a 15-year-old and I have a 6-year-old, so a pretty
That's
big
a
gap there.
huge gap. Like a huge
Yeah,
gap. Like, did you forget that you wanted to have more kids, or
I
was
think
like
it's called oops.
a
I
happy
did.
accident, or
I
like
didn't forget that I didn't want more
15 and
kids, but
6 is like, that's a huge difference.
yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, it's one of those things like which Erin, there's never when you have a career, there's never a good time
No.
Yeah.
to have a
Ever.
kid. There's not a good time. And so after we had my older son, it was like, oh well, we're just gonna wait until this. And then we're just gonna wait until this.
9 years?
Well, it sounds like she was out there building an amazing career,
Oh, she
and
made an
potentially her
amazing
husband was too.
But 9
Yeah.
years, I don't know if I could have jumped back into the game at 9 years. Like,
Well, we
I'd have been
finally
like,
realized, we were like, hey, we're kind of running out of time
Yeah.
here.
yeah,
And
we're
so
old.
we're just going to have to, like, if this is going to happen, it's just going to have to happen. And then it just like immediately happened. And
Yeah,
so
same.
there he
I
was.
feel that.
And
What
Yeah.
I was
and there
told
he is.
once was, if you wait till you can afford children, whether it's
You'll
time
never-
or money, you
you'll
will
never-
never have them.
No.
Yeah.
But 15 and 6. Okay, so your 6-year-old, does the 15-year-old watch the 6-year-old? Like,
Oh, gosh,
are they
no. I would
Oh.
never wish that fate upon the 6-year-old.
Aww.
I mean, to be fair, I have the same dynamic where I'm like, do I need to get a babysitter? And they're like, we're great babysitters. I was like, not for each other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for each other. I'll leave them together for like small amounts of time
Mhm.
if we're nearby. So a couple of times, like we'll go to dinner and we'll leave them together and we'll come back.
And you're in Vegas,
But
right?
Mhm.
we're in Vegas, but I would never leave them for like an extended stretch of time together, because
Yeah.
the older one would just forget. He'd be like,
That's
"Oh, I was
mine does
supposed to be
that too.
watching him."
Yeah. Yep. And like, to be fair, my oldest daughter was watching, we brought in like homeless children off the street, like before they go to foster home. And she told me, I said, why was this toddler walking around on her own? And she goes, well, you told me if I get upset to walk away. I said, not
What?
from a toddler. You can't do that. Like, didn't connect with her. So we're not there yet. But all right. So we're in
Also,
Vegas.
brilliant strategy for getting out of babysitting.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's
Where
give
in
her some
Vegas do you
credit.
live?
So we live over on the west side of Vegas. That's also where our office is. So it's great. I'm only about 10 minutes away from the office. I come into
You
the office every
gamble?
day. I'm not a gambler. I work hard for my money and I don't like to give it
Atta
away to
girl.
chance.
Atta
So
girl.
Good job.
Well, Aaron, I think it might actually even be close to time
I
for
know.
food
I
for
like
thought.
slipped right into it. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
let's roll. All right, you go first.
Okay. Well, since you live in Vegas and Aaron lived in Vegas too, I'll actually ask this question to both of you. What is your favorite thing about living in Las Vegas?
all right, me first or you first, Aaron?
Pick
No,
one.
you go first. You go first.
Yell it out.
So my favorite thing by far is just the proximity to so much nature. I grew up my whole life until moving here. I lived my entire life in Texas and in Oklahoma, where you drive for hours and hours and hours and hours, and everything still
Mhm.
looks exactly the same. And so here is just absolutely incredible. I know everybody thinks about Vegas and all they think about is the strip and the casinos,
Mhm.
but there's mountains that in 45 minutes from my house, you can ski.
Are you going to Charleston?
Above Mount Charleston, Lake Canyon. So 45 minutes from Las Vegas, you can ski. I think they've gotten like 37 inches this past week. So,
Gross.
and then in the summer when it's 110 down in the valley, it's 72 up there. We go
Ooh,
up
that's
there and we'll
nice.
have a picnic. We'll
Mm-mm.
hike. So that's amazing. We also are within a weekend trip of multiple national parks. We can be at Disneyland in
Yeah.
4-ish hours. You can be at the beach in less than 5. We're driving to Palm Springs today for the weekend.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's just you can just
And
do
I've
that.
told you before, if you guys are good dog sitters, I'm happy
Yeah.
to do some space trade. Y'all can stay here. I
Amazing.
got room for you and the kids.
Oh, I love
Totally.
it. That'd be awesome.
And
So
I'm
yeah,
15 minutes from
that's my favorite
Disneyland.
thing. That's
To
my favorite
answer
thing by
your
far.
question, Tammy, my answer is completely the opposite from Kim's. I do not want to be in nature. Big fan of gambling. I also love people watching. And one of my favorite things was when I was in Vegas and watching a guy as I walked into work. He was in a suit, clearly had not gone to bed, standing in front of an ATM, swaying back and forth. And his friend is smoking at the little, like, where you put your smoke cigarette ashes.
Ashtray.
Yeah, ashtray. Yeah, like whatever the tall stand is. And also not gone to bed. And the guy's swaying, trying to hit the numbers. He's like, "You got this. You're gonna win." I was like, "He's gonna win because that's his money. That's an ATM, sir." But like that to me, it's like the best part of Vegas is watching stories like that exist. And then gambling too. Like,
Okay, Aaron, you're up.
okay, fine. All right, Kim. So when you're not with your 15-year-old or your husband who seems to travel a lot, what was his name?
Shane is his name.
What was it? Shane?
Shane. Mhm.
Okay. Well, Shane, you're on the road a lot. When you're not, what are we doing? Are we working out? Like, what's our fun activity?
So it's crazy because we've been in our house for, I mean, almost 2 years now, and yet it still feels like we're moving in. And
Mhm.
so I feel like every weekend I'm like when we don't go somewhere because we travel a lot. I feel like I'm doing projects. Like it's like I feel like I'm always just doing like a little project here, a little project there. I've
Like,
been
what kind of
refinishing.
project? Like, what's a
Like
project?
HGTV type stuff.
I mean, kind of sometimes.
Mhm.
So, like, I've been refinishing a lot of my furniture.
Oh,
Our house in Oklahoma was very traditional. 5-inch crown molding, super dark hand scraped hardwood floors, and so all of the furniture kind of reflected
Mm.
that. It was
Dark.
darker. It was a little more stately. Then we move into this, 1-story ranch, kind of beachy looking desert house, and all of that furniture stood out,
beachy.
like a sore thumb. And so some of it we sold and bought some new, but then there was some that's really good, really nice, the kind of furniture
Yeah.
that they don't make anymore.
Yeah.
And so I did a whole bunch of research on how to refinish it and get kind of the beachy look that I wanted to do, and just one by one I've been doing them.
Can I
What we're
tell
learning
you?
about Kim is she doesn't know how to do something. She fucking figures it
Oh,
out.
yeah. No, she
and does
definitely,
it.
it seems like a go-getter. But
Yeah.
I will tell you, Tammy, when you introduced me to her at this conference, after me incessantly emailing her and she never responded. She sat down and she was so nice. And I remember thinking, oh, I love you. And I thought
Aw.
I met my idol. So I'm so excited that you came on our podcast. I'm so excited.
Well, we're not done with food for thought yet.
I
FYI.
know. I just
Because I
wanted to
haven't
tell
asked.
her how excited I was that like she's here. Like I'm going to keep doing that the
Okay.
whole podcast.
This is super awesome. And Kim, I'm sorry. I did not know that you had a professional stalker that was
Sorry.
tailing you. And I did not mean to make you feel threatened or unsafe in any way.
I don't feel threatened or unsafe.
I was going to ask, I always ask, name a restaurant that is your favorite. It could be, or just give a shout out to a restaurant that is not your own. Could be a place you and your family go, could be independent, could be a chain. Just give a shout out to another restaurant company.
Oh my God. Well, by far, and this is such an easy question. And because I was just there this past weekend, because that's like the first thing I do every time I'm in Texas. But there's a restaurant called Lupe Tortilla.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Which is in Texas, and
Mhm.
it is by far my favorite. I will literally plan my travel around making sure
Yep.
that I'm going to be able to go to Lupe Tortilla anytime that I am in Texas. If you've never been, find one, go and get the beef fajitas. There, I don't know what kind of crack that they sprinkle on those beef
That sounds
fajitas, but there's
amazing.
I've just never ever had beef fajitas that are up
That
to the
good.
same standard as them.
Is
They're
it
just
the
that.
meat or is it the tortillas or is it like the whole combo?
I think it's the whole combo, but there's something about that meat. It's just a little bit limey and a little bit.
Mm.
I don't know what it is, but it's incredible. So if you've never
Maybe you
been, you
should
gotta
try
go.
to do like a partnership. You could
Yeah.
do a
Yeah.
meat
Oh,
tortilla.
You get the meat
cheese
for
steak.
the Capriotti sandwich. Man, I'm so hungry right now.
You're up,
oh,
Aaron.
man.
All right, it's my turn. What do we do for working out?
Oh, that is a sore subject. I have not been working out like I need
That's
to.
the answer she wanted.
Same.
Yeah.
Same girl, same. I feel like we're the same right now.
She was waiting to go, same girl, same.
So I used to be super. So I used to be like a super hardcore CrossFitter.
Oh,
Of
of course you are. Of course
I
you are.
really liked that. And then while we were in Oklahoma, I was really good about being really, really regularly riding my Peloton. So so I really need to get back
Do you
into
still
that.
have the Peloton?
I do, yeah.
Where
And
is
Shane's
it?
really
Is it
good.
in the basement in a corner? Like where
It's
is
out
it?
in the we have like a little casita. It's out in the casita, and Shane is really good about riding it, and he's really good about reminding me that I don't. And so
Oh.
That was so
Damn it,
kind.
Shane.
So kind.
I'm pretty pissed
Well,
at you right now. Like you don't get
this
to
may
tell your wife she doesn't ride her Peloton. Like, come on,
it's not
Shane.
like that. This may be shocking to you, but we're a little competitive. And so, he just reminds me that it's not really
Yeah.
a competition if I'm not playing. So
Well,
Okay.
I feel like one thing we didn't talk about is you have a role on the Meg board.
I do.
So talk a little bit for folks that are listening. Tell people about Meg. Let's give a shout out to that event. It's
Yeah.
coming up in a couple months and let them know what it is and what you do there.
Sure. So MEG stands for Marketing Executives Group, and it's an official conference for the National Restaurant Association. So a few years ago, I had the opportunity to join the steering committee, and and unlike a lot of other conferences, the MEG conference is 100% planned by the steering committee and our wonderful liaisons from the NRA. And so we call it a conference for marketers by marketers, because we really are. Every single one of us has a day job as a marketer, and we come up with the topics. We source the speakers, we vet all of the content, and so it's definitely a lot of work, but it's so exciting because you get to think, what are all the things that I would want to learn or see or hear at a conference, and then we make it happen. So it's really amazing. I have an incredible group of colleagues that I work with on that steering committee who have transcended just being industry friend peers to being true friends. And our event is it's always right before NRA, so it starts on the Wednesday before NRA, it runs until Friday. It's going to be as usual. It's going to be incredible. So check out the agenda. And we are ending on Friday
Just to
morning
be
with
clear,
an
I've
AI.
never been to Meg. So like fun
Oh my
fact.
goodness.
So like
What?
you need to tell no, I've
What?
never been to Meg. I've never
Okay.
been there. So like tell me like how would I find
You
it?
have
Or
to
like
be there.
no one's ever invited me.
Well,
Okay,
you
well,
just got invited.
just
It's a
got
public
invited.
event.
Yeah, you
Jesus.
just got invited. You have to come. You can Google Marketing Executives Group, NRA.
Okay. Marketing
And it'll come up.
executives group is what people need
Yeah.
to Google. Got it. Because like
Yeah.
I did try one day to Google Meg and it brought up a lot of weird stuff. Just
Yeah,
so
like
we're all clear.
you're getting
So
some
like
Family Guy
marketing
snippets.
executive group during NRA and it'll get you to the right website. And then they can
Right.
like apply or
Or
buy
you can
their
reach out
ticket.
and ask me, like,
Yeah.
ping me on
Yeah, or-
LinkedIn. I'll
Okay.
send
I
you
just
a
want to
link.
make
Or
sure
me as
because
well.
like obviously if I haven't been there, there's people that like don't know how to get there.
Yeah,
So
well, do that. Reach out to me. Also, speaking of Dreambox,
Yeah.
Dan from
Yep.
Dreambox is also on the steering committee,
Yep.
with me, and so you can reach out to Dan. And if you've never met Dan, like, there's just not a friendlier or
he's
nicer
like
person,
salt of the earth.
maybe
Like,
on the entire
oh
planet.
my God.
And
That
you guys,
guy is
Aaron
like
listens to all of these episodes, so he is going to hear that.
which is crazy that he's like the nicest human on the face of the earth.
Yes, well,
He
and
really is. And so you can certainly reach out to me or Tammy to hear about Meg, but if you really want to hear about Meg in the most compelling way, Dan is your man.
Mhm. And he has
know,
more time to talk about it.
I am a little annoyed with Dan because there's
Oh.
like 2 vendor spots on the Meg board, and I wanted that spot for years because I
Are you not
was
on the Meg? Are you on the Meg
side.
board?
No, but you could be.
Oh,
And
all right.
so I
Kim, put
really,
me on the
really
Meg
wanted
board.
it when I was
The
at
thing I
Marketing
haven't even been
Vitals,
at.
but I don't have as much to offer. He can
Yes,
do
you
so
do.
much.
You have so
No,
much.
Dan helps them with the creative. He helps them with like the sort of the execution of the experience. He
Oh, okay.
really, and he loves it.
I'm not going to offer anything. I have
Loves
nothing to offer
participating.
either.
So
Like,
yeah, you should consider joining though, Aaron. And
I didn't even
Kim,
know
are they
when it
doing the next
happened, let alone
elections?
like
Well, for step one would be attending.
attending.
Ooh.
Yeah. Like, let's start there. I'll come
And then
to it.
if you think, oh my goodness, I have so many good ideas for next year, then that's step 2.
Oh, I definitely will have ideas.
Well, I'm hoping you'll
you
take
could
away.
even make it up and I'd have ideas about it.
I'm hoping you'll take away some good content from Murtech and say, "Hey, Tammy, that was
Yeah.
so amazing. Can you guys bring some of that to Meg
Well,
for us?"
And the AI stuff you're doing is just phenomenal. So I think anyone would be remiss to not come to what you guys are setting up for AI. Like you've done a phenomenal job.
Yeah, Tammy, you've done a great job, and thank you. And thank you. I'm looking forward to sharing more about what I built and how, and most importantly, how other people can get started. Because as I mentioned, all it takes is just a little bit of inspiration. You don't have to be technical to do this. You just have to be intentional.
That's
All
exactly
right.
right.
So our last question we ask every woman that comes on this podcast.
Are you ready for it?
If you could nominate one woman or women that you think we should hear on this podcast, who would that be?
Is it all marketing related, or just
No.
anyone in the restaurant
Tech,
industry?
Anybody in the restaurant
CFO,
industry.
CEO, coordinator, whoever
Yeah, someone that really needs a good lifting up, even like if
that you would
it's
just want to hear.
Yeah,
You want
we've
to.
had people, we've had interns on the show, we've had event people, we've had some vendors. And we can't always get the people. I mean, like if you asked for Oprah, I would be super happy.
Oh
to
no,
try.
you should totally do Oprah.
That would be very interesting. Well, so speaking of the Meg steering committee, I'll tell you, like, the chair of our committee for a long time has been Annika Conrad.
Oh, she
I
was
don't know if
on
you
We've
last
already
year.
had her on.
Yeah.
Try again.
Oh, I was going to say she's so fantastic.
But
Oh, I
that's
must
okay.
have missed her.
Tell her
She
how
was
awesome
great.
she is.
Yeah, she's great. Oh, well, goodness. Well, she's great. So I don't. I'll have to think a little bit more and come back to you guys, because there's so many great voices. There's so many great people that you just can't go wrong.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, you can tag them when we post this on LinkedIn. Absolutely.
All right.
So
Yeah.
thank you so much, Kim. Like you have been unbelievable to have on, and clearly I have a girl crush. And like when I come to Vegas, like we're gonna hang out and like eat sandwiches together. It's gonna be so good. But like for everyone listening in their car at home, Thank you. Please rate us. We prefer 5 stars.
Only 5 stars. It's not a preference, it's a requirement.
And we're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple. You can find us just about anywhere. If you want to reach out to Tammy and I, please do. But like, we're so blessed and happy that you listened today. So thank you. And this has been Bite Size and Bossy.
Bite-sized and bossy, rising up the ranks, handing out encouragement, deposits in their banks. Inspiration coming at you like a river flowing. Women paving paths, look at them going.